You have to learn about those things, and you have to educate yourself. Nobody is going to do it for you. Slowly but surely make those changes if you are concerned with your health and if you want to live, because some people don't.
Hi, and welcome to Don't Drink to Feed podcast. This podcast is all about you and all the courageous, driven women like you. We are here to inspire, to empower, to share, and to embrace one another. We will be talking with women from different backgrounds and careers about love, family, friendship, their wins and falls, and what it took for them to live the life they love. I am your host, Claudia Noriega-Bernstein, and I am so happy you're here today. Hi everyone. Today I am joined by Sylvie Beljanski. She is a French lawyer turned health advocate who has spent over 2 decades making holistic science-backed wellness accessible worldwide. Welcome to Don't Drink to Feed, Sylvie. I am so excited to have you here, and I am so curious to learn about you and about your research.
Well, thank you for having me today. I'm delighted to be with you.
I think it will be important to learn a little bit where this curiosity about cancer come from. So can you share a little bit what happened with your parents in their laboratory in France and how that impacted you?
Yeah. So I'm the produce of several generations of scientists, and I grew up in a household where my father was a PhD in molecular biology. My mother was working with him in the laboratory. And as a little girl, I felt that our apartment, our lives were in with people who were coming, first crying because they had been diagnosed with cancer. And then they were coming back with flowers and chocolate. So I felt they were always there and that we had no life, and my parents were not paying any attention to me. And I grew up saying I will never get involved with health, with cancer, with patients, never. And I decided to go to law school, and I was working as a legal associate in a New York law firm when I learned over the phone that both of my parents had been arrested. Wow. And I was like, what? Knew that my parents had helped the former President François Mitterrand when he was diagnosed with advanced prostate cancer. I knew that they had changed in a way the history of France, because Mitterrand, when the official surgeon did the surgery and said that the cancer had spread everywhere, he said, well, there is nothing we can do. We are going to give him some morphine and prepare the country for early elections. But Mitterrand had a mistress who knew about a good doctor, was very successful using my father's products, and that's how Mitterrand started to take the products. And against all odds, he got better and better, and it was very visible to the entire nation because he was a president. So he started to give press conferences again, to travel, and everybody was wondering what are those little plant extracts that are helping so visibly the president. My father was a scientist. He was not at all a political animal. He had no idea what he was getting into by helping the president. For him, it was just a prostate, like any other patient.
He was another patient, right?
Yeah. But after Mitterrand finally passed away, there was this backlash, political backlash, and they sent the French army, not the police, the French army with machine guns, dogs, and helicopters circling over the laboratory to arrest my father, to arrest my mother, to arrest all the doctors, all the pharmacists who had been working with them. There is a collusion between pharmaceutical companies and political people. The pharmaceutical companies are paying for the political campaigns, and then the politicians feel they have to give something to those who are lobbying them. And of course, I mean, the victim is integrative medicine and natural medicine. Absolutely. They don't want to hear about that. And the fact that it was very visible that something natural did better than what the conventional medicine could offer to doctors did not sit well at all with them. And they wanted to completely eradicate this knowledge.
Wow.
But I grew up seeing how it was helping so many people. I knew it was real. I knew about my parents' integrity. I knew they had done nothing wrong. And I decided to take care of their legal defense as a lawyer. That's how I got involved into that story at the beginning. And the more I was looking at this legal file, the more fishy it was. The more it was obvious that it was not about bringing some people to justice because of some wrongdoing. This was about destroying evidence, destroying evidence that those products were working. They wanted to destroy the products and destroying all the knowledge around that. And at that point, I said, over my dead body, I'm not going to allow the barbarians to destroy knowledge. And I decided I was going to carry on this legacy. And it was very, very difficult at the beginning because I grew up saying I don't want to get involved.
Right.
And I've been through law school, and it was hard and long to go to law school. And it was an expensive process, and I felt like I had invested a lot into becoming a lawyer, and that's what I wanted to do. But I felt that there was a higher calling, and I had to do something about salvaging this legacy. And from there, I decided to get as much knowledge as I could, surround myself with all the friends of my parents, and I received tons of love, tons of support. Really, people coming out of nowhere to make sure that this knowledge would not disappear. And they helped me tremendously. So I first started the company to make the products available. I had no idea how many people would respond to when I made that available. I had no idea if I would sit on years of inventory that nobody would buy, or if it would fly over the shelf in 2 weeks. I did my best. And then as soon as I could, I started the Beljanski Foundation, a 501c3, partnerships with academic institutions. Not only it was important to make the products available for people who needed those products, but also to confirm that my father was scientifically right, that it was not a crook, that it was not hocus pocus, that there was really scientifically it held up. And I am very, very grateful that I had been able to work like 20, more or less 20 research programs with those academic institutions. And we have been able not only to confirm my father's findings, but also go beyond that and use modern technologies to explain mechanism of actions, and even more applications that my father could even dream of at the time.
It seems to me they were scared, and it was inconvenient because evidence that the product and the studies were right, they had, because it had cured other people. So what I'm receiving from what you're saying is that the government was scared. And there was also a conflict of interest with the pharmaceuticals because they were competing. What is it your father discovered in his research that was so different than what we see or the studies that we see with the pharmaceuticals or the regular doctors?
So back in the 80s, conventional thinking amongst doctors that was everything was genetic and everything could be explained with drugs that would modify, touch our genes. And that was also a very lucrative route for pharmaceutical companies because everything genetic is new and therefore can be patented. But my father said, well, cancer is not a genetic disease. There can be some genes that are affected, but if it was only genetic, the number of cancer would be pretty stable. We see an increasing number of cancer, meaning there is something else going on. And he started to look at environmental medicine at a time. Everybody was making fun of him. I mean, what environmental toxins were, and there was a lot of pushback because in 70s, 80s, 90s, they were polluting like crazy and nobody wanted to be held responsible. But my father had the idea to screen a number of molecules and see how they would affect our DNA. And he found that some pollutants destabilize our DNA. The two strands of the DNA are no longer kept well together like the beautiful double helix discovered by Watson and Crick. And in presence of those carcinogens, the two strands of the DNA are not well kept together. The hydrogen bonds supposed to keep them together break. And then you have those big loops that, and once they are open, then you have an increased rate of duplication of the DNA. And there you can have those tumors created with cancerous cells that you don't see with healthy cells. All cancerous cells, whether you look at plants, animals, humans, you have these big loops, what my father calls a destabilized DNA. So he used this test also to screen and found molecules that would do the opposite, recognize selectively those big loops and prevent the duplication of those abnormal cells. And that means natural products that will recognize cancer cells wherever they are located. Doesn't matter if you think of brain, prostate, ovarian, it doesn't matter anymore. They recognize the destabilized DNA. And that means also no toxicity to healthy cells. Because if you do not have destabilized DNA, you are going to eliminate the product in a matter of hours. When you look at them under the microscope, you can see that those plant extracts, which happen to be naturally fluorescent, they invade cancerous cells. Everything becomes bright, but they create kind of halo around healthy cells, and they do not penetrate healthy cells. So, in other words, it means kind of natural solution that will recognize all cancer cells wherever they are located. Doesn't matter the organ. It doesn't matter if it is a man or a woman. And no toxicity to healthy tissues. And that's why he was so successful with all those French doctors back in the 80s, 90s, and it came to the ears of the president that there was something working when conventional medicine was giving up, basically, on him. And that's why I thought I just could not allow that to disappear. And for the past 30 years, that's all I have devoted my life to, reproduce my father's research and take it even forward. So we started with Columbia University on prostate because, of course, coming after Mitterrand found a urologist at Columbia University who was very intrigued with what happened with Mitterrand and wanted to reproduce that, which we were able to do very successfully, confirms that both the Pereira extract and the Rauwolfia vomitoria extract, that's the plant of the name of the two plant extracts, are able to destroy cancer cells, several stages of cancer cells, from inflammation of the prostate to full-blown cancer to advanced prostate cancer, which does not respond to hormonal treatment anymore. And then Dr. Katz was presenting now what was his research. And I was sitting next to a doctor from Kansas University Medical Center who turned to me and said, well, that's amazing. Would you have something for women? And I said, yes, the same thing, because it's not organ or gender specific. It works wherever you have destabilized cells. And that's how we started to work on ovarian and pancreatic cancer at Kansas University Medical Center. We confirmed also the activity of those same two plant extracts on ovarian and pancreatic cancer. We also were able to confirm the synergy with conventional therapies, mainly gemcitabine and carboplatin. So the plant extracts work by themselves. When you mix them with chemotherapies, you have inhibition of cancer cells up to 97% with an added toxicity. And then we made the observation that the mice that were treated that way did not develop any metastasis. And then it was a aha moment for us because we said, well, maybe also those little plant extracts are also working on cancer stem cells. And cancer stem cells, nobody was speaking about that at the time of my father. But now everybody is speaking about that because cancer stem cells are those cells which are embryonic and have the possibility to become whatever kind of cancer cells in the future, but are within the tumor and do resist chemotherapy. So the doctor is saying, you are doing well, the tumor is shrinking. Actually, it's only destroying the mature adult cells and the embryonic, the babies, generation 2 remains in the body and eventually one day may very well wake up and create a new cancer. And since conventional medicine is not destroying them, doctors tend not to speak about that to the patients. Many patients are diagnosed with cancer. They know that cancer may come back one day, but they have no explanation, and they are not told that chemotherapy is not destroying all cancer cells. And that's why I believe everybody should know from day one of diagnosis that there are some natural non-toxic solutions that, and the science is there showing how they can destroy cancer stem cells. So we did the research and it was published, so in vitro and in vivo on mice, on ovarian and pancreatic cancer. We just finished a study on breast cancer stem cells. 1 out of 6 women who has been diagnosed with breast cancer will eventually relapse. And 6 out of 6 are in fear of being the one who is going to relapse. We did this research and it's beautiful. The mice who have been treated with the Pereira and Rauwolfia vomitoria, they developed no metastasis. And the mice who have not received those plant extracts develop metastasis like crazy. So we are now waiting for the publication and we are already trying to fund research on prostate cancer stem cells because it's the same thing. I mean, 20% of men who are diagnosed with prostate cancer will relapse. So that's very exciting.
And in your research, do you include children? Because the number of children with cancer is very big and is getting bigger.
No, so I want to put the emphasis. Those are animals, in vitro and in vivo in animal studies. You cannot do research on humans.
And I wasn't asking if you right, but your medication, is that available for?
So it's dietary supplements. It's not medication. Yes, everybody can go online and get the plant extracts. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. No side effects. And if you do not have any destabilized cells, I mean, your immune system will get a little bit stronger, but you will not feel any big difference. It's only if you have destabilized cells or a virus. Pereira traditionally was used in the Amazon rainforest to fight malaria. So what we have seen is that it's very helpful against the AIDS virus, HIV virus. That was a study, clinical trial that was done at the time of my father, early 80s also, that was a big thing. But also hepatitis, herpes, papillomavirus, and then COVID. All that is working very well with Pereira. And then the Rauwolfia vomitoria, in addition to those anti-cancer benefits, also helps regulate hormones, hot flashes, acne for teenagers, infertility issues, all that can be improved with Rauwolfia vomitoria. In addition to fighting cancer cells.
You talk about environment. How much stress plays in these cells, in the cancer cells reproduction?
Yeah. So in my presentations, I explain the research and I say, now we are more than cells. And those little plant extracts, they are going to work at the cellular level. But the cancer is, you are more than just the cells. So you have to take care of everything else. Those plant extracts are going to give you time. What are you doing with this time? And you have to learn about what made you sick in the first place, because the root cause is not being addressed neither by those plant extracts nor by conventional medicine, which is just, cutting, burning, poisoning, but is not never addressing the root cause. And you have to understand what made you sick. So it can be a lot of things, physical and emotional. And people say cancer is running in my family, for example. So they think it is in their genes. Not necessarily. I mean, it can be toxicity in the family house. It can be family recipes and way to cook that is highly unhealthy. It can be love for processed food. It can be a very stressful ways of life and relationships with other people and with yourself. It can come from a family dynamic, for example. And you have to learn how to remove the toxicity from your life. And it's a very difficult and long process to make an inventory of everything what is going on. And there are things that are easier than others. I mean, mold in the house is something you can spot, you can do some tests, and it's a no-brainer to address that. Now, if you have a toxic relationship with your spouse or with your parents, it's much more difficult to recognize and to do something about it. And then maybe the most difficult is a toxic relationship with yourself. If you have not forgiven yourself something and something is eating you up.
Fostering it inside of.
Absolutely. And then you have to learn to make peace and let go of things. And as long as you are not doing it, I mean, cancer will come back because you have not addressed the root cause. You are not at peace. You have to learn to be at peace with yourself and be in a good place where you are not going to self-destruct for some reason.
And even the people that, because we're talking about people that are suffering and having that illness, but also people that never had cancer. The first step would be taking care of themselves emotionally.
Absolutely. I mean, taking care of yourself emotionally, that's really important at every stage. You don't want to get sick. Sickness is kind of a reminder. Hey, it's time to do something. So you don't want to get there. You don't want to wait for the reminder. You need to learn to be healthy. And that's a lot of education because we live the way we live, especially here in America, it's the temptation for unhealthy lifestyles are plenty. The food, the drinks, the pollution of the air, I mean, the cooking utensils, the water we drink, everything is polluted. So it really takes willingness, effort, going out of your way to understand what makes you sick and make, sometimes it's easier, I mean, to make some switches, some switch, replace. I mean, do not remove completely, replace for something healthier. Choose organic wherever you can, including, for example, skincare.
It absorbs everything.
Skincare are designed to get absorbed in 20 seconds. And it goes directly to the blood and the lymphatic system. It's not designed to be half or two-thirds eliminated like everything we eat. So it gets there directly. You want to avoid all conservators, parabens, all the bad stuff. So choosing organic and in glass jars, no plastic and this kind.
I was going to talk to you about the plastic. Plastic is so bad for us and we don't realize how much we're harming ourselves. Even just putting something in the microwave on a plastic container. We have so much plastic in our body and we don't realize it. And I switched a lot of things in my home a while ago because I read those studies that show how much plastic we already have in our body from the time we were little, because nobody talked about it for years.
Absolutely. And it's also the glyphosate It's dishwasher products. It's synthetic molecules in all the air fresheners, oil diffusers, and so on. It's nonstop. And you have to learn about those things, and you have to educate yourself. Nobody is going to do it for you. And slowly but surely make those changes if you are concerned with your health.
With your health.
And if you want to live, because some people don't.
Well, some people don't want to go through the trouble, or maybe they think it's not going to happen to them until it happens. And I think that in a way, that's what happened with the president. When he didn't think he was going to get sick. And then when he got sick, he started to get curious. What other options I have so I don't take the doctor diagnosis as my final diagnosis? Let's talk a little bit about the book.
Yes, so I wrote this book, Winning the War on Cancer, The Epic Journey Towards a Natural Cure. It reads like a novel. It has received a lot of prizes because it's an easy read. But at the end of the book, you have learned a lot about cancer, about research, about making some healthier choices for yourself. And also at the end of the book, I have included the protocols from Dr. Markovich. He was a close friend of my father. So cancer by cancer, there is his recommendations.
I love that. And I will have the link for your book in the description of the show because I think it's important. And I want to remind my audience that I have a newsletter every week where I talk about the episode. And in the newsletter, I usually recommend a book. So I will be recommending your book and having the link so they can get the book as well. I thank you so much, Sylvie, for being here and for sharing this because I think we all need to have those options. At the end of the day, it's our decision. We can look at the problem or we can look the other way and hope that it disappears. It doesn't. I suffer from cancer. I got curious and I am cancer-free for many, many years. And one of the reasons why is because I started to look in places that it wasn't comfortable to look at. And my lifestyle, the way I handle stress, my relationship, the toxicity that I was surrounding myself with, as well as what I was eating and how kind I was with myself. So I think it's a little bit of everything. And when you get curious, you're gonna find those answers and you're gonna have a better life without the disease. So I thank you so much. Is there anything you would like to add?
Well, I am going to send you a link about the book, but we are also giving you the first chapter for free if people are curious. And then there is also, at Maison Beljanski, we are giving free health coaching sessions, group sessions. So there will be also a link so people can join us for the next health coaching session.
And ask questions and learn a little more.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sylvie. It was a pleasure having you here. So enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you for having me.
Thank you all for listening to the Don't Shrink to Fit podcast. If you like this episode, please write a juicy comment below and subscribe to my podcast. Remember, we can only fly if we embrace each other. Until next week, be happy, be safe, and be kind to yourself.